Hello, people. We are back at To The Podcast, episode 118. 118. That's right.
Yes, 118.
118, because 117 was last time, and 119 will be the next one. So this got to be 118. God willing. We are back for another episode of us at tothepodcast.com. Got lifesaver in my mouth. It's your boy, International Walk.
It's your girl, Tosh, the co-host with the mostest.
And we are here at tothepodcast.com is our website. Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Twitter, YouTube. Did I say Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
Breaker. Radio Public. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I should have ate this candy. TikTok. Should have ate this candy earlier, but fuck it.
Your mouth juicy.
It does if I slobber a little bit on camera and it go on my beard. Don't judge me. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing good.
What?
No, my mind went somewhere else when you talk about slobbering and your beard and all that. So.
Jesus Christ.
You said it, not me.
You thought it. I'm talking about eating a lifesaver and slobbering in my beard, and you equate that to eating vagina.
Did I say that? I said you made me think about slobbering and messing your beard. That's all.
Okay.
I'm doing good today. Mentally I'm an 8. Mentally I'm an 8. Nothing's wrong. All is well. Going through something, not going through anything, but, sometimes your own mind is your worst enemy. Mm-hmm. Like, your mind be playing tricks on you. But, I'm good. I'm blessed. Therapy today, which was really good. So I'm in a good space. I could be in a better space, but I take accountability. That's me.
That's your own fault?
No, not my own fault. That's my own responsibility to do that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not my own fault for anything. Financially a 10, no issues there. Tax deadline is coming up. I gotta finish that.
I'm about to say, what the fuck are you waiting on?
Sunday. Sunday is the day. I don't have no plans. Gonna get it done. Knock it out the way. Just gotta, sit down and do it. That's all. Well, Tuesday is the deadline, but I'm gonna do it Sunday. Make sure that's done out the way.
When was the 16th?
No, it's the 18th, which is Tuesday.
Oh.
It used to always be the 15th, and then they started the 15th is a Saturday, so I guess that's why they pushed it back.
I've been hearing the 16th all week.
The 16th is a Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check it out.
It's the 18th. It's the 18th. But yeah, I'm going to get it done on the 16th, though. That's financially. Work is a 9. It's super duper busy and hectic, but I'm just starting to think that's the way of the world, and I'm trying not to let it stress me. So yeah, that's that.
Physicality?
Physically I feel good. I'm gonna say I'm a 9. I feel good. I feel
I feel good all over.
My hands on the
Sweet Lord.
You took it to a country
song.
song.
Was on the radio today, and I heard it. It was.
I feel good. I feel good all over. Yeah. You and I have one of us dreams.
Let's keep on with the show.
Okay.
Lost
Physically,
the monetization when you sing somebody's song.
Physically, I'm a 9. So 8, 10, 9, 9.
8, 10, 9, 9. Cool. That's not bad numbers. Mental can come up a little bit though.
Yeah, I'm working on it. How
did you bump your head?
Did I bump it?
It's a joke.
I might have a little bit. I might have a little bit.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't want to share?
No, nothing is wrong with me.
I don't mean are you deformed? I just mean what's your issue?
Sometimes I feel like in life, we don't always give out what we receive, but it's our own fault for having expectations. And part of it, I think, too, is, I can't believe I'm actually saying this 3 years later. I think I'm developing some sort of isolation issue working from home. It's just at the beginning, to drive me a little bit crazy being by myself all day. And it's a little bit of that. I don't have no choice though. Like, that's my job. It ain't like I'm here because I choose to be. I am happy working from home. And to be honest, it's not like I want a job where I have to go into an office every day. I think I would like to have the option at my own discretion. Like, I wouldn't want a schedule that says you got to be here every Tuesday. Like, if it was once a week, I wanted to go into the office or something. I don't know. It's like days when I have off, even if I have like errands to run, doctor's appointments to sit, I enjoy that. Like, it's not like, I just want to sit in the house and not do anything. I don't mind being busy. I don't know. It's just something that's like, it ain't like a huge issue, but it's just starting to nag at me just a little bit. Sometimes I just be like, damn, I know everybody is busy, like, going about their day. You working, you can't sit and talk to me all day. Toya, she's in a space where we talk, we text during the day or whatever, but she's working too. My sisters are doing their thing, and I don't know. It's like, so that's what it is, and so that's why I say I'm a 9, but I'm working on. I'm an 8, but I'm getting better. So that's what it is. Your mind can play tricks on you. Dun, 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 dun. Ain't that the song?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. How are you?
I am good. Mentally, I feel like a 9. Yeah, I don't have no stresses, no ill thoughts or anything like that. Nothing's nagging me, so I'm a 9.
That's good.
Finances is a 10, always. Blessed and thankful to God. Work is a 9.
Except for the stupid building that had bad service.
For various reasons, but that's just that building. It's got fucked up service. I worked there before. Physically, I feel like an 8. Body is just like, shoulders hurt, back hurt, legs hurt. I really need like to go get this massage wherever I can find it. Yeah, even if I gotta go to the wishy house and just leave before the ending, I just gotta go get a massage.
But be careful about saying wherever you can find. The worst thing is like going to get a massage and it's mediocre, and you leave out feeling like
yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, you want it to be good.
So what did I say my mental was?
You said your mental was a 9. You said work was a 9. No, you said work. Mental was 9, finances was 10, work was a 9, and body was an 8.
Yeah, body was 8. Let me just get these numbers down, people. Wilds and woes, stops and goes, ups and downs, blacks and whites.
My wildest week is just seeing the weather changing. I love this. Even though I'm in a house and I ain't had much exposure to it, but I have been outside some, like going to Wawa or something. But I just, I like this time of year, like for the sunshine, to be out.
Why don't you work out front or nothing like that?
Because I can only have my laptop, and it's a big adjustment to work with one screen opposed to my 3.
Got you.
So that it's just a big adjustment. What I would like to do, and then working on my lap too, which isn't that bad, but I would like to get a little what do they call a little cabaret set, like the 2-table patio sets, because we don't need a big one.
Like TV fucking trays?
No, like a backyard set, but there's just a smaller table with just 2 chairs.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those or something, maybe to put on the deck. Because sitting on my lap is not bad, but I would feel more comfortable like at a table being able to work. But even still, it poses the same issue. But there are some times when I know, like, all right, this call, this meeting or whatever, I just have to listen to something and don't necessarily have to do something, then I can use those opportunities. I would rather sit out back than out front.
Why?
Less noise, less interruption, possibly.
Or more sun. What about the glare on your screens? Like out front, you got something over you where you got shade and you
I got a blackout thing. But yeah, you're right. Well, I'll work it out. But the weather changing, us going into spring, it's weird to see like we jump into the 80s. Having some nice, really good 60-degree days and then transition.
You get far and few between. We get no fucking real spring now. It's
just
like winter to summer.
Yeah, and I
like
like
in 2 weeks it's going to be like a small 91, 92, and it's like that's too fast.
Right. I was gonna say I
that
like
shit ain't supposed to come to the end of July, beginning of August with the 90s.
exactly. I love the summer, but I enjoy spring. Like I like a nice spring jacket, and I don't want it to be like, nah, you don't went from winter to jacket season is gone. So that's just my wow. I'm enjoying I'm looking forward to us doing our garden and flowers and stuff like to we as y'all know we're in a new home. Last year we were here last summer, but you kind of got to monitor the lay of the land, see how things grow. And then this year, we got some landscaping plans, so I'm looking forward to that. My wow is
What's your wow?
My woe. I know we talk about the violence in the city of Philadelphia often, and things happen.
Yep.
But this week there were two. There may have been more, but the two stories that I seen, two really violent murders of women, and I mean I know these ain't the first, and unfortunately won't be the last, but they happened the same day. One girl got killed, and she was the god sister of somebody that used to report to me, who's actually done my hair before, so they were really close, and it was sad to see her posting pictures and stuff and videos of her. She was killed in the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through on her way like 7 something in the morning. She was actually, her 11-year-old son was in the back seat. They walked up, they didn't say anything to her, anything, shot her in the car, killed her in the drive-through.
Baby daddy?
No, well, I don't know if it was a baby daddy. It was her boyfriend commented, said like, she ain't had no beef with anybody. So I don't know if there was any relation because they didn't catch him. The person drove up, didn't say anything to her, killed her, drove off. She was a middle school teacher. The school closed early. Like they showed videos of kids talking about like how impactful she was in their life. This was prior to her passing. They had did this tribute to her for a different reason. They just was so just a really, really tragic, young life, educated woman making a difference in the community from what I can see. And then there was another story. I don't know many details, but there was a young girl who, 22 years old, down Germantown Avenue, she got shot twice, which makes me think she never even seen it coming. She got shot twice in the back of the head, once in the neck, once in the back, and then I think like another in the arm or something.
Oh, yeah,
so obviously all in right behind her. But just that happened. That happened the same day at like 3:00 in the afternoon, and it's just like wow, like what the hell. So that was just like oh whoa, like damn, it's so sad. More continued violence. I mean, again, I know other lives have been lost.
This shit happens every day, every week, and you sometimes, and I'm not saying this to be smart, but sometimes you're so tapped out that you don't necessarily see stuff like this. But this is not. This is common.
I purposely tap out because when I see the stories, it's like it weighs on me heavy, and it's like
there was a girl like 2 weeks ago that got shot 14 times, and then when I read that story, I just thought, damn, like how angry could you be at a girl? And it wasn't her baby father; it was just some street shit. But it was like, how angry could you be at somebody to shoot a female 14 times?
You know what it made me think about? Like what you said, me being tapped out. And no, I guess people watch the news because they want to know what's going on. They want to be aware. They want to, be informed. But to constantly be seeing these stories, even if it's one a day, every day, but we know it's more than one a day. So you're constantly seeing and reading and hearing these stories. I can't ingest that much. And again, I know the news has their job to report, and they don't even report all of the murders. It's just way too much. And it also made me think about how many people in the city, let alone the world, are grieving, not just because of death, because of sickness and that sort of thing, but unexpected tragedies. And it's like the amount of grief that people are walking around in just the city of Philadelphia. And I know this is a national thing, but in just the amount of grief that people are walking around with is so heavy.
It's staggering.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's staggering.
It's
and some
dangerous.
People have multiple family members died in their family in short periods of time. So yeah, I would agree with that. But that's sort of a thing that I think has been created. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but people are like, I don't want to watch the news. It's just too much, and what you take in is who you are. Like, we grew up watching the news our whole lives, watching shit, and nobody knew then that, or even thought to yourself, 10 days of the news is too much. But now it seemed like all of a sudden everybody get a whiff of the news. They say one bad story and it's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Everything all fucking bad. And it's like, okay, it's the news. Like, they're going to report bad shit.
For me, it's just too much. And I know some people, they don't care. They feel like if they don't watch it, and I get it, because like Toya will always say, like, she got kids, she needs to be informed. Like, you want to know what's going on. I get it, and no shade to people that do. We need some people to be informed. Me for myself, I have to tap out, and it's probably to my own detriment, because there are things that I probably should know that I am uninformed about. But,
I mean, I don't think anybody likes to watch murder after murder after murder. I mean, you can watch a movie for that. You can watch John Wick for that shit. But the fact that something's being reported on, or you live in a city and you want to be informed on, what's going on.
You need to know.
They could put a face on the screen at your niece, at your nephew. Like, so you need to know these things instead of being like removed so far away just because of the fact that they show who got killed.
Right, and
and it's like, damn, on a regular news cycle, I've seen news cycles where 5 or 6 people got killed in one night. I've seen news cycles where 1 have gotten killed. So it varies. If I'm watching the news on a Thursday and they show 5, Friday morning I'm gonna wake up like, God damn, y'all see the news last night? But if it's 1, I'm gonna be like, damn, did you hear about this? Like, this is terrible.
Then depending on the gravity of the situation. And lately, which I'll say like within the last 2 or 3 weeks, because of the new TV service you signed up for, we've been watching the news sporadically, maybe twice a week.
And it hasn't been our thing for like 2 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, which I have not seen the news. Like, there's beautiful women on the news. Like, who is this lady?
Not so beautiful. You got to just put it out there.
No, I'm saying newer people.
There's newer people, there's beautiful women on there, and not so beautiful. So I'm just saying, there's good, handsome men on there, and not so handsome. Let me give everybody
I'm just addressing
love.
It just be like, wow, who is this news lady, or who is this newsman? Never seen them before, because we haven't watched in so long. So I kind of peek my head in and out, but I definitely can't watch it every day. It's just too much, because not only do you have news, then you have social media informing you. It just becomes heavy. Yeah. So that was my woe. So
it's conflicting when you reading different shit. You don't know you're just like, fuck it.
Right. What's your wows and woes?
My wow is that I've gotten back to work this week. And I mean back to work like I've been at work, but I wasn't like really working. Mm-hmm. And this week I've gotten back at work, and it's been like, whoo, like, nigga ain't been doing this in the last few weeks. And although it's cathartic for me to be in my world doing my thing, it's like, okay, your body is like, you ain't done this in a few months. Like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm just happy to be back in the fold, back in the mix. I'm still good. I'm still fast. So none of that changed.
What's good? That you have been working out and then transition back to that. So it's not like you went from being kind of stagnant to doing that.
Yeah, and
you might have
on the scaffold.
You might have wore yourself out.
I might have tapped out at lunchtime. I might have been like, I can't go back. Yeah. Like, it's too much.
So you really worked yourself up to that.
So that's my wow. It's just back. I'm back being me, and doing things that I want to do. My downside is just my friend Eddie. Like, he knows about this. We talked about this. He just got a worse streak of luck this week, and I feel for my man. He had some bank account issues. He got doggy issues. He got all kinds of issues. Aww. So he's just like in a bad space. But shout out to my man Eddie. Shit gonna get better, bro. And that's just it.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
And Eddie, he's a cool dude. I was when I had the chance to meet him and Danny. It's weird because they have completely different personalities, and I can see how y'all all mix together. Like, Danny is real chill, laid back, cool. Like, he the type that like will sit in the corner and peep everything.
Yeah,
and
he don't say too much.
Yeah, but he can tell you everything that's going on. It ain't nothing slow about him. He watching, he listening, he hearing, but he just real chill.
He's exactly
Eddie is like in the mix, like, what's up? How's everything going?
Me and Eddie could be having a debate back and forth at high volume, and Danny will be like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can tell he's just real chill and laid back. And I don't know. I don't like to always put too much on that astrological thing, but I know Danny's a Pisces, and it makes me think about my sister. How Sierra, like she can kind of be in the mix a little bit, but then she gotta like fall back from peopling too much, like just kind of be more observant than in the mix.
He's a very observant person, yeah.
And Eddie's like in the mix. What's up? What's happening? What's going on? And if things get popping, he gonna pop off.
Eddie's he gonna bring 80s Eddie back when he's a murderer.
Sight. Don't say that about him. Don't put that on his jacket.
You know what I'm talking about. 80s Eddie was the killer. Topic: Shanquella Robinson. Nobody being charged in her murder. She was killed in Mexico with her friends. Went to Mexico on a trip with her friends. Was fought, jumped, and beat to death. And nobody's being charged for her murder after the FBI investigation. This was like a couple of months ago. There was video of like a trans man beating on her as one of them was naked, or I think she was naked. But no charges being filed. And just from like, we don't get everything, all the facts and information, but just from what was out, the video going somewhere with your friends and not coming back and them coming back, like it kind of like points to wrongdoing. So it's like and a person lost their life. So it almost seems like I wish like when a person loses their life, somebody got to get charged.
Yeah, but, I'm not surprised though, because it was very circumstantial. And I think we seen a snippet of one event over obviously some things that happened over a course of the night, like in terms of them fighting or whatever else happened, them drinking. So for the alcohol, and not no fault of her own, probably added the reasonable doubt in the case, because they're saying she died. Her friends were saying she died from alcohol poisoning or something like that.
Right.
But, because people seen her getting beat up, and I'm not saying that...
You think that can happen when you land somewhere and within 24 hours you're dead?
I mean, well, let's just say this. People have gotten beat up before and not died. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was a result of, okay, she got beat up and then plus the alcohol was something else going on. I don't know. But I think it's hard because it's circumstantial to say basically she was beat to death, or like her being beat up is the cause of her death.
Right, I would think so.
Two things could be true. She got beat up, but she also died from something else. Mm-hmm. So
that's the circumstantial part. You're not saying that's what it is.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And I think that's probably why nobody's being charged. Not to say no one is guilty, but it's probably very hard to prove just because of the pieces of information that they have. Like, okay, she got into a fight, but do her injuries show that she
was actually fighting a man, so that plays a part in it too. Like,
well, she was fighting a woman, if you want to acknowledge
that. She was fighting a man.
Okay.
And like his strength is different from her, so I don't know what type of beating she took that would cause her to die. But at the same time, you can check her alcohol levels. You can check toxicity levels to see how drunk you were or how much alcohol you had that warrants your death being called alcohol poisoning.
And it may not have been. I'm just saying it. But the autopsy may have. But the autopsy may also prove that her injuries weren't the cause of her death either. So I mean, to say she was fighting and she got beat up, they probably could tell. Like, okay, I'm just making this up. The blow to her
somebody
head.
Get punched in the head. It's not necessarily going to be like you can just have a hickey or a contusion. Is the technical term, but you got a contusion on your head, you lay down, you don't wake up, that you died from getting hit in the head. Like some people will be technical and be like, well, no, the contusion caused a brain stem and then that's why she died. Like, no, she died from getting punched in the head.
But all I'm saying is this is all circumstantial. We don't know all the evidence. We don't know all the facts. We seen the 30-second video of her getting hit on, which was horrible in of itself, considering you're supposed to be with your friends, quote unquote friends.
Right.
But, so I'm just saying I'm not surprised, because I don't think there was enough evidence to prove that she got beat to the point that caused her death. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
I just don't know. if it was, and also we have to consider this didn't happen on U.S. territory. This happened in Mexico. So who was responsible for doing the investigation?
I would think the Americans are responsible because they're American, and an American died in Mexico. So I wouldn't think that Mexican officials, they would be responsible for the murder investigation. I wouldn't think, but I could be wrong. It's not like I know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we was recently talking about the CIA, where like they don't operate on U.S. soil, but if we talking about the FBI,
they're supposed to operate on U.S. soil.
Right. That's that's what I'm saying. This happened in Mexico. So are they investigating a murder that happened in Mexico? I'm not saying they are or they aren't.
But even if they are, there's still the FBI. It's not like.
Well, what I'm saying is, what if they aren't, and then we're leaving the investigation at the hands of the Mexicans, who just may not be as thorough as the U.S. investigators?
But it's the Mexican FBI. You got to be some type of.
How do we know Mexico has an FBI?
Everybody has an FBI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mexico has an FBI. They have stations all over the world. So if some shit go down, you can FBI.
Really?
Yeah.
The CIA has stations all over the world.
That's what. Yeah, that's
okay.
What I'm
I'm about to say the FBI is the U.S. right.
Yeah.
But I don't think this was at the level of the CIA investigating.
No. I don't think it was at the level. of the
that's CIA. What I'm saying. Whatever authority figure is responsible.
But when you say leave it to the Mexicans to investigate, like what exactly are you talking about? Just like
whoever,
Mexican patrol cops?
Whoever's the authority figure in Mexico. Whoever is their
FBI
is their equivalent to an FBI. So
detectives or whatever.
Exactly. And who knows what level of detail they go to. Who knows if even an autopsy was done? Because I think your family has to agree to that. So if they don't agree to an autopsy, it may have been difficult, even more difficult to prove. I think they would have
if they think that their child was beaten and their friends who were with them saying she died from drinking, you would want to prove her cause of death to prove them wrong. Because obviously you think it's some fishy shit going on.
Yeah, it would make sense that her family would agree.
Right, like you went there with 4 friends and then within 24 hours you're dead. Like I talked to you a day ago, you get there and then you're dead. Your friends come home and they're talking about you died from drinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's messed up, but I'm just saying I'm not surprised because I think that it was very circumstantial. What it looked like to us, it looked like they were responsible. It had something to do. It just was like you said, a very fishy scenario. It wasn't something that I would feel comfortable in just accepting that it just happened if it was somebody that I love. But I think from a legality perspective, it apparently is difficult to prove that anybody within that circle is directly responsible for her death. Could they be responsible for assault? Yeah, because they, her getting beat up. Maybe.
Well, why not do that? Well, there was no charges. Why not do that if there's actual a video
but if it was a fight,
of people jumping her?
Now, I didn't see a video of people jumping. I seen her fighting one person. So that's why I'm just saying, I just think the situation in of itself was circumstantial.
It's crazy to say you can go somewhere with your friends, end up dead, and they'll be held responsible if you didn't drink. But because you drank, that makes the whole situation of you dying with your friends circumstantial.
Well, that's what I'm saying because
I get what you're saying. Yeah. I'm just saying how fucked up that is.
Her friends are saying, it was because of alcohol poisoning because they also said she threw up or something like that. And we only know pieces of the story. Let's just, hypothetically speaking, let's say she was throwing up, but she was laying down asleep and she kind of choked a little bit.
Asphyxiated on her.
Right. Now, I mean, I think that would be evident. Then that probably isn't the case because that would probably negate the need for any type of investigation because they would know right away. But so I'm just saying there's probably layers to the story that they had to peel back, and it's probably hard to piece together the puzzle to say, this is what we know for sure happened. We're charging you with the crime. And to think, I mean, they're going to charge you with the crime if they think they can convict you. And that's why I say it's probably circumstantial. It's probably so circumstantial that they're not willing to press charges because they're just not sure.
What would be your next step if this was your relative? You go to the Mexican government and bitch at them, or do you ask America to do something, or do you just take the L on the chin that my child went to Mexico for a day and died with her friends, and all them came back and chilling now.
I mean, unless you have some...
Like, do you look at it like you just said? If somebody breaks it down to the family, look, the legality and the technical issue is that she was drunk, and
we
really
don't know that she got beat to the point that... And I mean, the family probably... I mean, I'm sure they may have seen her body. It's like, okay, she got beat up, but did she get beat to death?
Right.
So, I mean, it's probably one of them situations where the family probably feels strongly... about...
If you got punched in the face upside the head, you standing there arguing with somebody and somebody punched you in the ear and you fell down and died, did you get beat to death? Yes, right?
You got punched to death, yeah. I mean, because you got hit one time. But
well,
yeah.
I mean, somebody would say that person beat them to death. They wouldn't say, or they would say he punched them to death. I mean, that kind of sounds weird. He got punched to death. Yeah. They would just say he got beat to death. So you don't have to look like Martin to be beat to death, is what I'm saying.
Right, and then also you have to think, and that it's not like she got beat up and didn't get up.
Right.
You know, so like that she was still verbal, she was still moving. Now what happened after that, that's why I'm not blaming the alcohol or saying she did anything wrong, but that might have muddied the water a little bit to say, like, was there some... I mean, you're right. I'm sure they could tell what her blood alcohol level was had she been drunk to the point that caused her death.
What's the legal limit? You always
in the U.S.,
it's like 0.8 or something.
Well, driving, there's no legal limit if you ain't driving, but driving is 0.08.
So if your toxicity levels was 3.5, that's like almost dying, right?
3.5, like that's almost 5 times. That's 4 times the amount that you're legally.
So you're staggering, like,
no,
peeing on
3.5.
Yeah.
No,
that's alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
So if it's like 1.5, that's high. You're drunk.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
If it's 2, it's like, okay, you was having some serious drinks.
That's work. Yeah. I mean, you figure 0.1 is extremely high. 1%. 0.08 means not even 1% of your blood alcohol level.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if you're talking about 1%, think about how far that is from 0.08 up to 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I always get that fucked up.
Yeah.
So 0.08 is the legal driving.
Right.
And then
if
1%.
you're 0.8, that's 10 times the amount. So 1 is more than 0.8.
Gotcha.
You're more than, but again, that's driving, but that's still very drunk.
Right. That's like extremely intoxicated. Yeah. Rest in peace to Shanquella Robinson.
Yeah, it's hard. I can't imagine what her family. Yeah.
And what they going through, not having nobody be responsible, and your daughter, going to a thing with her friends, and the tragedy like this turns out. And hate to have like video on top of it that shows her in a fight when you think like you're going with people who care about you, and you like that kind of shit shouldn't happen. Any more thoughts on what the fuck are you doing?
I was looking to see what level of what blood alcohol level is considered alcohol poisoning. So blood alcohol 0.3 to 0.4. So 0.4 is 5 times. Mm-hmm. That you'll likely have alcohol poisoning, a potentially life-threatening condition.
So nobody can get to like 3.5. You're fucking lady. That's embalming fluid.
yeah. You're out of here. That's why I thought you were saying, because
That's where I fuck up at. I don't know I always thought it was 0.8. You're saying
0.08.
It's 0.08.
Yeah, so 0.4, you think about this, 8 times 5 is 40. So 0.4 is 5 times the legal driving limit.
Got you.
So between 0.36 and 0.4, that's 4 to 5 times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so once you get to 1, you're out of here. Like, your blood is 1% alcohol.
That's like, you're saucy.
Yeah,
you're
saucy. You might not ever become undrunk.
You might have pee in your pants.
You may be inebriated for life. Like, you just may never be sober again.
That's
if
sad.
You survive.
I know a guy at work that got high in the 70s and he never came down. and he's still high.
You know, that was what, I mean,
He was like a Grateful Dead follower, like them people who went to them concerts, and they just took acid and put acid in their headbands. I'm telling you, you see this guy now, you think he's high, and he's been sober 30 years.
It's one of those things that, like, you kind of, I don't know if boys were taught this. Like, as you growing up as a teenage girl, it's like, oh, when you start going out, never let anybody get you a drink or anything, because if they slip you a Mickey, which was the language that was used, like, you could get high, never come back.
Right.
And I knew a guy, he was a young guy. I mean, I knew of him where they always said, like, that's what happened. And he was just like,
and we knew
sitting
Mike.
on the steps like that. Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. You told me that's what happened to
Mike
him, yeah.
was the guy in my old neighborhood who used to run fast and then stop on a dime like a horse at the curb, because to him, the curb was high. He had to step over it to get into the street. And then once he stepped over it, he would go in the street and get to the other curb, and then that would look, the depth perception would be high to him, and he would step over it as if it was a 3-foot wall, and then he would run.
Yeah, it's crazy what you were saying. I always had this thought in my head about, like, not that I ever wanted to do it, but like LSD, acid, those kind of drugs, never to try because of the possibility of you getting a bad hit and never.
You're going to the moon, you just don't know if you're coming back.
That's a scary thought.
But you will go to the moon, because them guys used to put acid in their headbands and put their headbands on and let it dissolve in their head. They be in the fucking planet X, and you just don't know if you ever coming back to Earth.
Can you imagine, like, maybe like that's your weekend thing on Saturdays, you do that with your friends stuff, but you good, like you come back, you good, you go to work, and then
y'all
one
can talk
time,
about it, like, be like, yo, we was bugging, we was tripping balls,
and that one time they be like, yo, Timmy ain't
he
come back, he ain't never get right. He ain't never get right. Like, that is some scared straight stuff. At least for me, I mean, not scared straight. It scared me enough to be like, I ain't messing with no drugs.
But rest in peace to Shanquella Robinson. Yeah. Condolences to her family. It's a shame. It's a tragic thing. But I think somebody should be charged. You don't go nowhere with your friends and come. If I had a kid who went somewhere with their friends and didn't come back, I'm on the hunt for all her friends. Like, all of them. Like, I need answers directly from y'all. Let me get my shit off. The Dalai Lama. I don't know what's going on with these types of groups of people, right? So there's always some fuck shit, some inappropriate behavior with these groups of people. Whereas the Dalai Lama, I don't know what in Tibet what that religion is or what he is, but these isolated people, these nuns. And I'm just grouping everybody, and the nuns are mean as shit. They mean to all the little kids for no apparent reason. The priests touching on the little kids and all this shit, and they want boys, and they married the guy and all this. And then you got the Pope who do weird shit. Then now you got the Dalai Lama, who's like, I guess he's like Mother Teresa or something. Like, what's the what's he used for?
I don't
like
know. He's like some like sort of godhead in that, but I don't acknowledge.
Yeah, and this is just real weird how all these isolated people have issues where they have inappropriate behavior with kids. You don't ask no fucking 9-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid who's young enough that you gotta blur his face for it to suck your fucking tongue. Like, that's out of pocket. The Dalai Lama lives out of pocket, and he should be called out for that. And that's what we're doing right now, calling the Dalai Lama out. That's wrong. You can't be touching kids. You can't be kissing kids in the face, open mouth, sticking your tongue out, asking little kids to suck your tongue. That's some weird, nasty shit.
Yeah, so the Dalai Lama, he's a Buddhist advocate for peace and freedom. He was exiled in India. Well, from his exile in India. He's a religious and political leader since 1959 who has stood as head of the non-violent opposition to China's occupation in Tibet.
I don't give a shit who you are, Dalai Lama. You can't be doing inappropriate behavior with kids. It's all the same to me. I don't give a shit who you are. Once you cross that line and you asking kids as young as 9, 10 years old to suck your tongue. Like, kids don't suck their parents' tongue. They made them. Like, you don't suck nobody's tongue. Like, not no grown 60-something-year-old man, 70-something-year-old man asking a child to suck his tongue. And it's like, that shit's very inappropriate no matter who you are. Pope John Paul, the Tibet man, the Dalai Lama, whoever it is. Like, if Mother Teresa asks a little boy to suck her tongue, that shit's wrong. Like, people got it. And, like, why are the nuns so mean to the kids? Like, why are these isolated people so mean? Like, what's that about?
I know of some nuns who were great.
What fucking nuns you know?
My mom used to work at a place with a lot of nuns, and they weren't all mean. So, I mean, I think that's a stereotype, and there's some truth to it, but I don't think...
it comes from truth.
Yeah,
where kids was hung up in the closet on hooks.
Kids were bad, though.
Yeah, but you don't hang a kid up in the closet on a fucking hook. You don't turn a ruler on the edge and bang a kid's knuckles. You don't make them sit on tacks. That kind of shit is inappropriate, babe.
It is inappropriate, and you shouldn't, harm children in that way. Kids are
bad. Our teachers in public school did that shit to us.
Kids are bad as hell in school. But let me tell you this. I blame the parents. I'm not talking about the nuns. I'm talking about the parents who subject their children, whether it's the Dalai Lama, whether it's, subjecting their sons to be altar boys with the priest. I blame the parents that you trust these people. This ain't God. They got flesh and blood and veins and skin and eyeballs and earwax and
they got history
just
of
like
fucking with
us.
kids.
No, outside of that, even if they don't, these are people that you are trusting the safety of your child with. Like, I blame the parents that you allow your child to be kissed on the lip by, it should have never went that far, because when you see him go to kiss your child, you should have, ho,
yeah,
get my son down here.
And isn't it bigger?
What are you doing? Get my son. It shouldn't even had the opportunity to escalate to the next level, because the parents, I don't understand how people become so enamored at these physical beings, whether it's the Dalai Lama or the Pope or whomever, these people that have flesh and blood on their bones, just like us, that they just allow them, they just surrender their beings, their children's beings and safety to them. I blame
But
the
you got to
parents.
call the Dalai Lama on asking a kid to suck his
he's
tongue.
Absolutely
like
right.
you 70-something years old. Like, where you from that you don't know that shit's inappropriate? Like, they don't do that shit in China. Like, wherever you from, you don't know that you 70-something years old and you don't suck a young boy's tongue?
And not only that, you got to think that whoever his people are, the apology that they gave was like...
That was weird, too.
Like, they talked about, he often says things. Like, this wasn't about what he said. This was about what he did. Like...
And let me just say, some parents trust other adults to watch their kids. So that's not you trust teachers, you trust daycare. But
he's a stranger.
I know. They're strangers, too. Like, you don't know the people at daycare. It's your first day meeting this girl named Shauna. You don't know what her history is. So I'm saying it's not a thing where you say you don't trust people to watch your kids, because parents do. But it's his responsibility not to fucking ask to suck my boy's tongue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, now, obviously, we have a bias in the whole altar boy thing and
because
Catholicism.
We know what has
know.
happened.
But if you're into that and you want to have your kid, let's just say you're a dad and you slipped through the cracks. You was an altar boy. You did all the things right.
You had a great experience.
You would want to put your kid in that, even knowing what you know. But just for the goddamn man to ask.
Let's say you were a dad who.
I think if it gave you structure and gave you something to care about, you might want to put your son in it.
Even though nothing happened to you, and knowing the history, would you still want to?
I don't think I would, but I think the people who do put their kids in there have that kind of mindset, because everybody knows about the history of them touching little boys. Right. You got to live under a rock not to know that.
Right.
So for you to take your boy today at 9 and be like, I want to sign him up to be an altar boy, you may think I can protect him. You may think I had a good experience. It didn't happen to me. Or whatever the fuck you think to say, I'm bringing my kid down here to be an altar boy. Because you know the history of these people.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Nobody's at fault other than the person that did it, which is this man. But I also think the parents have some accountability to protect their children. That's all. They have some accountability they have all the accountability to protect their children, especially when they're present.
But what are you supposed to do though? Like, if you send your kid to daycare and you
I'm talking about in this situation. This happened in front of them.
Right, but what are you supposed to do in that moment when you see him up there just talking to each other?
Well, he kissed him first, and that should have stopped
I
there.
mean, I agree. Okay, I agree.
Yeah,
Because I did see the kiss first, and then they started talking, and then he did that shit.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know how people aren't more outraged at shit like that on video. Like, all the shit we see on video, this is a 70-something-year-old man asked a boy to suck his tongue.
Well, I mean, I saw a lot of outrage, but the thing is, what are people going to do? You know, I mean, what are they
Cancel
going
the
to do?
Dalai Lama. That seems like the going thing to do now with people in 2023. Cancel him, so no more Dalai Lama. You get your fucking ass back to Tibet, and we don't need you to come out and give advice no more.
Okay.
Dalai Lama gone, canceled, done. What have you learned?
I have some great information for y'all. So we know that there are, Black history facts that we learn about that are like the typical, right? But there are some, there's some people that I'm going to mention. This will be like a little segment, but it won't be too long. Some people I'm going to mention, just ask you if you know who they are. Frederick McKinley Jones.
Heard the name, but don't know who he is.
So he left his mark with the development of refrigeration equipment.
Mm-hmm.
He had over 40 patents. Basically, he invented automatic refrigerated air cooling for trucks, trains, ships, and planes, which helped with the preservation of food. He invented Thermo King, which allowed people to eat fresh food year round. His work contributed to the preservation of blood and medicine, and proving to be particularly useful during World War II. In 1991, he became the first African American to receive the National Medal of Technology. George Crumb.
No.
He was a chef and a restaurateur who developed the potato chip.
Wow.
Did you know that was developed by a black man? The only thing...
So you mean tell me the Irish been eating potatoes all these fucking hundreds of years, and a black man decided to slice one?
Well, no, it was unintentionally created in the summer of 1853. They were made in response to a customer who sent back their fried potatoes who complained they were too thick. But they became an instant hit, and he never pursued the patent.
Oh.
But he was the one who created them unintentionally. Alexander Miles, elevator design. He was the one who created created the technology for elevator doors to open and close automatically instead of manually.
Okay.
He was on an elevator with his daughter. He realized how unsafe it was, and through his technology.
Let me just say, I've worked in this building, right, and everybody might know in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Arsenal. It's on Frankfurt and Tacoma. This place was like an old war place, and they had these old elevators in them, like the ones that you shut the gate and the doors. Seriously fucking dangerous. Like, I'm talking high, next level dangerous with these fucking elevators made in the 1800s. The doors, you can lose a fucking finger. They don't have lights. The gates don't work. They get stuck. Like, these are giant killer boxes.
Yep. So he got a patent for his invention, which included the flexible belt that was attached to the elevator cage, which allowed the doors to function automatically. All right, couple more for you. Percy Levon Julian. He made several vital contributions to modern medicine, and he created a synthesized drug which was called, I'm not going to say the name, but basically it was used to treat glaucoma. And then he also discovered how to mass produce cortisone and steroid progesterone, which was used to produce sex hormones. People take cortisone, and a black man created this, right? This is like pretty interesting. Marie Van Britten Brown.
Okay, come on.
She had 5 patents, right? And she is thought to be one of the most forgotten black inventors. She patented the sanitary belt. So, back in the day, women used to use cloths. Well, she created this belt that women would put on, and it had like a pocket. So you can slip your sanitary napkin into that and then throw it in the trash.
Which later became the maxi pad.
Exactly. And she also created a serving tray that could be attached to a walking frame. So like when you get food service, a black lady created that. And the toilet tissue holder.
Okay.
Yep. All right, a couple more and then I'll be done.
You said a couple more, couple to go. Right.
This is Shirley Jackson, and she was pretty recent because she had a picture with President Obama. You know who Shirley Jackson is?
I heard of her.
First African woman to earn a
Security
doctorate
camera?
at MIT. Yes. She created the first, not only that, touch tone phone, portable fax machine, and fiber optic cables in caller ID. No, she wasn't the I'm sorry, you're making me jump ahead. You scaring me. Brown. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Marie Van Vitten Brown. She was the one who did. All right, last one for you. Lonnie Johnson. He developed, as you know, the Super Soaker.
Okay.
And I know people kind of knew that about him. He worked for NASA, and he created this toy. It was called the Super Soaker. Hit the shelves in 1990. Did you know in 2017 they said that it earned $1 billion in sales, but it doesn't say he earned. So it made me wonder. Like, I wonder how much of that money did he profit
probably
from.
sold it.
Yeah.
And they probably just took off with
and
it.
they still selling Super Soakers.
In different variations, different, bigger ones that squirt 3 fucking things. Yeah.
He was born in 1949. He doesn't have a death date of this article, so so he can still be alive. So there's some Black History facts. Black History is not only in February, and I know we know about like George Washington Carver and all that. So I wanted to share some facts that were kind of off script that everybody doesn't know about.
Me and my wife went to California last year. Went to LA, and we was hanging out. Now it wasn't one of our best times, but we had some fun out there. And we was out on what's the main thing, the All the Stars, Hollywood Boulevard. We was on Hollywood Boulevard, and there was a plethora of people that I was surprised to see out there on the ground. And then
on the Walk of Fame.
On the Walk of Fame, and there was a lot of people that I was surprised not out there. So I've learned that Martin Lawrence is now getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Could you believe he had not had a star?
No,
of all the shit that Martin has done, he has not had a star on a Hollywood Walk of Fame.
And then you see some people like Jamie Foxx, and Martin was like doing his thing before Jamie Foxx. So, yeah.
What's a person you might think that deserves a star that's probably not out there?
I don't know. See, I guess
Tyler Perry was out there.
Sean Diddy Combs, Mary J. Blige. There were
DJ Khaled just got his star. Kevin Hart.
I took a picture of Kevin Hart's star. Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Is he out there?
I don't know. Sean Carter was out there. Beyonce's not out there.
No, Beyonce or in Destiny's Child, they're not out there.
Is Alicia Keys or anybody like that out there?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing it, but I'm not sure.
But I would just think of all the comedians and Black entertainers of the 90s, I would have thought Martin Lawrence would have had a fucking star.
Yeah.
Like Bad Boys, his show, like his stand-up career. Like, I just would have thought Martin would have had a fucking star. Like, you read something like that, you think, wow, that's cool, but how the fuck he didn't have a star all these years? How DJ Khaled get a star before Martin Lawrence?
I know.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Think, is it based? I mean, of course, it's based on your career, but is it
no shots to DJ Khaled because I like what he do. But how do you get a star before?
But
Martin?
It makes me think: is it, of course, based on your career and your success, but is it also based on your visibility in the current culture? Because we know right now DJ Khaled is very visible. Martin has not been. So is that possibly the reason why?
But he was at one time. It's not like they just giving out stars now.
Right, but I don't know.
He was hot as fish grease, the biggest thing on the planet at one time.
What's the criteria for getting a star?
I don't know, but we shouldn't. Yeah.
We'll look it up. We'll present it to you on next
laptop here instead of stop going to the phones. 3 grams.
I'm ready.
King Von doc is out. Yeah.
I mean,
you know who King Von is, right?
I know who he is.
Okay, so King Von doc is out, and
let me just ask this.
It's like people have been thinking this. Don't nobody want to say it, but people have been thinking this. But everybody would be like, shouts out to King Von. Yeah, he made great music, but he was a killer, like a killer, and he is being labeled in this documentary as one of the first hip-hop serial killer. Like, he is tied to the first 20 minutes of this documentary. He is tied to 10 homicides in Chicago.
So that was going to be my question, right? Like, there's been so many.
He has killed so many people.
There's been so many rappers that have been killed, and his career was very young, like new. What makes him such a big deal over, so many other rappers that have been killed?
The drill rap scene he was the first artist to rap from a first-hand perspective of what he was doing. When you go back and look at tweets and lyrics where he quoted himself saying, "I just want to kill," or when that girl K9 got shot, the girl who was doing all them homicides, well, he's supposed to have killed her, and he was like, "I just put a bitch in a morgue," like tweeting this kind of shit, like, and it just like I don't follow none of these dudes.
It's so sad that all of that is glamorized.
That local Instagram when you with your friends and shit, like it's a different type of thing than you see with the celebrities. And he would like normally write some shit like that, like I just want to wake up this morning and go kill, where the ops at, like all this kind of shit. And from 2011 to 2018 or so, he is connected to 10 homicides.
Yeah,
10.
And it's a shame that this is glamorized by pop culture, by and it makes me think like that has trickled down to so many neighborhoods, such as where we're from in Philadelphia, like seeing that sort of that local fame based off murders. Like, that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of heard the rumors and stories about like what he used to do in the streets, like and shit like that. But when a documentary comes out and you start seeing like evidence and like how you're tied to shit and all the murders, it's like, damn, like this dude really was a serial killer, which and it's like it turns into like you just was killing young black people.
Yeah. Like,
what the fuck? Like, you're no different than Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Like, who just was killing a lot of young black people, or like that's your story. Like, no matter what your music was or how many millions you got in your bank account, your story was you got shot and killed, but your history, everybody know you probably killed 10 people.
That's sad. Yeah.
Like that's a double-digit body count, like for a fucking 20-year-old kid.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's insane. Second gram, Candace Owens said something about Lizzo. Lizzo took some pictures that was naked, like, really naked, and you know Lizzo, she's obese. Candace Owens said her fans are crazy for saying somebody clinically obese is healthy. So just your thoughts on that, like take you and I out of it. Do you think you can say that you're healthy if you're clinically obese? Because if they say not being obese is healthy, how can if you're clinically obese and let's just say like you got fine vitals and you move around and you're active, does that necessarily mean you're healthy?
I mean, it's
like, what's the line where you say, okay, this person is big, but they can do, and they have healthy vitals, and they do shit that any other person can do, but they're 150 pounds overweight.
Right. It's not for, you said, what's the line? The line is in her doctor's office. And I think that's where people typically, would a person who is overweight, or obese be healthy? Typically, no, but it doesn't mean that that's true for every person. She could very well not have, she could just be fat, but, not have any issues with cholesterol, diabetes, no organ failure or malfunctions or anything. And technically, the doctors could say, okay, later down the line, this may cause some issues, or maybe your joints might start to hurt earlier than somebody else's.
So you're not as healthy as you can be.
Right, but it doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you're unhealthy. And so I guess where's the line? The line is inside of her doctor's office when she's giving blood work. It's not for us to determine, because we don't know. It's people projecting, which
but
again,
I think you're getting a little defensive though, babe.
I'm not getting defensive because I'm not a fan of the stuff that she does.
I know,
with her,
and I'm not saying you, but I'm saying let's just say you 415 pounds and you got great vitals. You're not really healthy. So no matter what, if the line and your doctor tells you, yeah, nothing's wrong with your heart, it's a little big, you don't have cholesterol, you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have hypertension, but your scale is 411. So you can't walk out of here thinking that you're actually healthy.
What's the lady that's the bodybuilder lady?
Tamara Walcott.
I would think that, you know, her being in the sports field that she is, she probably works out. You know, she's a big lady. Now, just because she lift weights, she don't have to be that big.
No, she has to be that big to lift 600 pounds.
But what I'm saying is that, okay.
You can't be 115 pounds and lift 600 pounds.
Okay, she's probably a healthy lady, though, based on her lifestyle, the things that she does. So it's circumstantial. Lizzo is very active in terms of, you know, she has to be with her performance and to have the stamina. And even seeing her in her show, yeah, she ain't dropping it like it's hot like the dancers are throughout the whole show, but she moving and she's singing, and that takes a lot of stamina. Even if you was just sitting there on a stool for 3 hours singing, that takes some stamina. So yeah, typically would somebody her body size be considered unhealthy? Yes, but does it mean that that's absolutely true for her? No.
Right. I agree with what you're saying. I think it's different for everybody, but I do also think that at a certain point, if the doctor says you're clinically obese, you can't, and your vitals are good, you can't walk out of there saying, I'm 400 pounds, but my doctor said I'm healthy. Like, you're something's going to happen where you just probably shouldn't carry that much weight.
Yeah.
Chloe Bailey, In Pieces album, debuted 119 on Billboard's 200, sold 10,000 the first week. And a lot of people were talking about this, and I didn't know, I found this out today, that she is on Beyonce's label.
Yeah.
And not one promo from Beyonce. And people was like, you know, not necessarily tight, but saying if you're the owner of the label and this is your new artist, you know the power you have in a tweet or an Instagram post probably would have made the business of this a little better. But the fact that you didn't, you know, she sold 10,000 units the first week, and that's terribly bad.
She may not have wanted that from Beyonce. She may have wanted to do it on her own. I will say,
but it's my label and you're my artist, so it's not about what you want at a certain point. I need you to be big so my money can come in. I'm not doing this for fun. You're on my label, so you're supposed to come out and sell some units.
But I don't think.
Fuck about what you want. You can make your music the way you want to, but I'm gonna have your rollout the way I want to because I need you to succeed.
But I don't think Beyonce is as hands-on as people are saying or thinking. Her and her sister have been on Beyonce's album since they've been promoted to the public, and I don't think Beyonce has ever promoted when they were a group, let alone individual. This is my thing with Chloe.
I don't know that, but okay.
I mean, just looking at I've seen.
Do you know that for sure, that she never put a tweet up or an Instagram post about them as a group?
I don't even know if Beyonce has Twitter. I don't know that she does. I don't know anything about that. I can't recall. I mean, and they've been out for so many years, so I'm not going to say for certain that she has it. But Beyonce barely posts anything. Like, so I'm just saying, I'm not surprised that she didn't. And again, she may not be as hands-on as people think just because she owns the label. Like, she just, I mean, think about when people come out on Rock Nation. Like, do we see Jay? We know how much.
Jay knows everybody that comes out on Rock.
No, I'm not saying doesn't know. We know how much pull Jay has. You know when Jay-Z got on Instagram when what was the movie with Idris?
The Harder They Fall.
And then he disappeared. So he promoted what he wanted to promote, and that movie, I think, did well.
It did.
Because of him. But all the artists that come out on Rock Nation, we don't see him going like to promote that. So, I mean, I'm sure they have people that work in those areas. Just because their name is on the label doesn't mean they're hands-on doing what they need to do.
Rock Nation is a management company that has 50 managers that all do what they're supposed to do. The Desirees and all those people in the music industry. So
but I'm
that's
saying
different
it's
from
Jay-Z's
having a label. Yeah, but it's not a label. It's a management company. Rock Nation is a management company, not a label.
Okay.
So I'm saying it's a different thing. But if you have a label and your business is to put out artists, then if you're a Birdman and your business is to put out Lil Wayne, you would think, I'm going to promote him at some point because I want his to be successful so that the label grows. And I'm not saying she should be hands-on and she's in the studio and all that kind of shit, but I think she would know. And I'm not saying she's at fault, but I think she would know that her album is coming out. And that if I say, hey, go buy this album, or go stream this album on this day, what effect that would have on her career.
But maybe she wants it to be organic and not have the Beyonce effect.
That's true.
Because the thing, like, maybe she wants people to like it because they genuinely like it. Chloe Bailey
what I'm saying is, if you're the owner, it's your business. So the artist can want that all they want, but
no, I'm saying maybe Beyonce wants that too. That's all I'm saying. Beyonce knows her power, so I'm sure nobody's saying anything that she doesn't know. I'm sure there's some reason why she didn't. The thing with Chloe is she is extremely talented, and she's proven that, through the years when she's been singing with her sister. It's something about this album, and I tried to listen to it. I listened to like the first 3 songs, and I was like, you know what? Just listen, try to see if you like it. There is one song, maybe like 1.5 songs that I like. It's like, okay, we talk about people who can like sing effortlessly and really blow. It's like she's like she's not really letting it out.
I haven't known anything about her. This is my first introduction to her as far as long as I've been seeing her, which is for the past 4-6 months, a year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know them when they were little girls. I don't pay attention to little girls, so I didn't see them and know that they were singers or on Disney or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So my introduction is when they're apart now.
Okay.
So it's like I didn't know that she was even on Beyonce's label. All I'm saying is, a business owner, even if you want her project to be organic, just to post something wouldn't hurt it, is all I'm saying.
It wouldn't hurt it, but maybe Beyonce didn't like it. Maybe she felt
that's
like,
true too, and that's the other half of it. Everybody getting on her saying she should do this, she should do that, and the truth is, she probably don't like her, don't like the project.
No, I don't mean don't like her.
But that's a possibility too. Like not liking you, well, not like in a malicious way. Just we don't vibe. We're not friends, and I don't like the music or the genre that you're tapped into or what you're saying. So it could be a variety of that, or just like we missed the ball here, because 10,000 units was bad. When you as a label owner, when that comes back and you say, okay, what did the roster do? You're like, damn, Chloe did 10. You almost want to drop that person.
I mean, and again, I don't even think that Beyonce is as involved in that label as, I think she's...
What's it called?
I can't think of it right now, and because I think it actually started. Her dad had a hand in their music business, at least when they were a group, the sisters, Chloe and Haley, whatever.
What were they called?
Chloe and Haley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just went by their names, and then they just go by Chloe, her full name. So again, I don't.
Is she the older one?
Yes. She's like, I think 2 years older than her sister, and it's weird because I used to think they were twins, but like I used to think they were fraternal twins. But I mean, I think they were on Ellen like when they were younger. Like they started really young, they were kind of like a young, dirty backpack, like imagine like a India Ari, but at like a 13-14-year-old kind of singing age. Like that kind of vibe to it. But even then, I didn't, she has a beautiful voice, but this album is like, just sing. Like, it's just something about it where it's like, are you scared to open your mouth and sing? Because that's what I wanted to hear, and I just was not hearing it. It's like, why don't you hear her vocals?
I don't know. Maybe I'll take a listen to a song or two.
Yeah,
but
you probably don't.
On the business side, I just think if I want my label to grow, then I would probably do something like that. Like, hey, check out this, stream this. Maybe you don't like the music and you're not going to promote it. That's fine too. But it's just weird how people will jump on her for not doing something that she probably didn't even fucking think of.
Yeah.
Act 2 the podcast, let's do a rap. Act 2 the podcast, episode 118, coming to a wrap. It's your boy, International Walt.
It's your girl, Tosh, the closes with the most.
We always hope y'all enjoy the conversation. If y'all get a chance, call out the Dolly fucking Lama because he wrong. And that's it. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.